Welcome to our presentation about digital communication. My name is Taylor Powell.
My name is Brooke, Deskin.
Name's Nguyen.
And Grunewald.
Today we will be discussing the challenges for corporate communications in the digital age. The questions we will be addressing are: how did it all start? What types of advantages and disadvantages are there? And how can you use digital communication to your success?
This is a timeline on business communication. It all started when the internet was born in 1990, all the way to where we are now with the iPhone. Business communication has come so far since the day of writing letters. We started by writing letters and progressing to face-to-face conversations, then to phone calls and conference calls. Once we were able to have phone calls between businesses, we were able to communicate faster and more efficiently. The next big change that was made was in communication was email, because there was communication without having to talk on the phone. This wasn't always a good thing because we took a step back and it took a little longer to communicate back and forth. So when Skype came around, it was the best of all worlds. You were able to see the person you needed to talk to without having to be in the same room. We then found a new way of communicating using social media. We were able to reach people in the demographic that businesses were trying to reach. Once the iPhone came out, we were able to do everything.
Some advantages and disadvantages of business communications are, well, for the advantages, you can widen your exposure to the public, which with social media, that's really easy to do because you're reaching all kinds of consumers of all ages and demographics. And as for financial savings, you're saving a lot of money, whereas social media, if you're not advertising, if you're creating a page, then you just reach out to the people without any cost. And as well as expediency, communication these days, like they don't cost a lot like they used to with long distance phone calls. Now you can get instant feedback through email or instant messaging, and it's really convenient, especially if you want to work from home. As for the disadvantages, some negative feedback. When you get negative backlash through ineffective communications because you're not communicating well, and it removes the impersonal perceptions. A lot of times you're doing things automatically now, and through digital world, you don't have to see people when you interact with them anymore. It also but it also brings up a security issue, as well as hackers, where if you're doing everything electronically, text messaging, emails, they're all prone to hackers, and your confidential information can be leaked out. Here's a slide of the negative backlash of consequences. Because social media marketing is a great way for business to widen their exposure to the public, it also creates a great sense of instant communications. So whenever your company goes down, by not communicating to the public and let them know what's going on, you can have negative backlash, and it could damage your company's reputation.
Alrighty, so I'm talking about how to use this to your success. And one of my big things is knowing your audience. So when we think back to the last presidential election that happened, everyone was giving the big fuss about Trump being on Twitter. But when you look at it, 24% of online adults are on Twitter. So if you want to get to the younger generation, you should reach out to people of that age because they're more impressionable and it just makes more sense. And then taking advantage of what's at your fingertips. 4.77 billion people own phones. And then in 2010, there was a huge boom of smartphones in people's pockets. So now you have things like instant messaging in your pocket, you got email in your pocket, and then of course you have the phone. So now it's just a lot easier for the world to be connected and to be able to reach anyone you need to at any time.
All right, so here are a few key points that we hope you are able to get out of the presentation. Before 1990, everything was actually done personally, either writing a letter, calling over the phone, or either in person. Once the internet came about in 1990, apps such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube became the way of communicating. Before the digital age, we used to have to spend a fortune on international phone calls. Today, we are able to actually send a tweet across the world in a matter of seconds. A huge disadvantage requires the impersonal communication to be removed. We now hide ourselves behind social media. paying attention to what key components you have at your fingertips. This is a huge way to actually use digital communication to your success. And knowing your audience, like who uses Twitter, who uses Facebook, what type of group you're actually trying to reach out to.
We hope you enjoyed our presentation.
And we hope you learned something from this. Thank you.